And we are back with the show. Once again, it's Gerald coming right back at you. It's that time of the month again. It is our TV fix. We needed it. It's been a little while. And once again, to give us that TV fix is our good friend. She is one of the best TV reporters out there from the TVRatingsGuide.com. You got to check out all the great things going on at the TVRatingsGuide.com with all their original content, all the renew, cancel updates, their reviews, their articles, and so much more. It is my good friend, Miss Jessica Boggs. What's up, Jess? February's here, and the TV Critics Association, nicknamed the TCAs, is just came and went, and there was a lot of news coming from that.
Yeah, there was a lot of renewals.
Yes, I know the CW went renewal crazy earlier this week.
Oh yes, they did go renewal crazy of every single show except for All American.
Why did they just say, you know what? Just could have done that in advance. Just could have just made it simple, made it easy, instead of saying they're renewing all these shows one by one by one. Just say, you know what, All American, you're done. Goodbye. And just left it at that. But there are a lot of things you want to discuss, especially when it comes to the TCAs. Well, tell us, I guess you wanted to go from the most surprising to the least surprising, or the least surprising to the most surprising?
Well, I'm guessing it's the CW for me is least surprising. And CBS is most surprising.
Okay, so a lot of things happened with CBS, and I know that a lot of the TV world centers around what CBS is doing. Even though they're not number one anymore right now, there's still a lot of things that they do to shake up everything, and every now and then to see what's going on out there with the TV world. I know they have a lot of shows which you and I have talked about before, feel kind of samey. And it's always nice if they go ahead and shake things up. But tell us, what went on with CBS this week and the major changes that took place?
Well, this week they renewed Mom for 2 seasons, seasons 7 and 8. They gave him a 2-season renewal. And they also renewed God, Friend, and Me, FBI, The Neighborhood, and the Man and PI reboot for 2nd seasons.
That's pretty much what I thought. Wasn't sure on God, Friend to Me, just because of the fact that the Sunday lineup always seems to have, I don't know, the viewing audience always seems to be kind of all over the place when it comes to when it watches on Sunday. So I wasn't sure if that one was going to be able to make it, but it looks like God was a friend indeed. So I want to hear more about what's going on with your thoughts on the TCAs.
I'm guessing because we expected like a lot of news to come out with the renewals, but they were all mostly no-brainers for the most part. But I was a little surprised with what the networks chose with the renewals.
Okay. So, because some of the ones were on the cut line and they were leaning towards cancellation. Some of the ones that some of the ones that you projected at the TVRatingsGuide.com. So it looks like some of the ones maybe that were leaning towards cancellation looks like that they got a renewal.
Yeah, with A Million Little Things, I think the only reason why I got like a season 2 renewal was because of the ratings resurgence, and that's a good thing. Because it looked like it was dead on the time slot for when it was airing on Wednesday 10 p.m. But now that it airs behind Grey's Anatomy, like the ratings went back up, and it's been steady for quite a bit of time.
It has been steady. I know there's a lot of other good things you want to talk about when it comes to ABC, but also a major announcement about a long-running show that will be coming to an end.
Let me guess. Modern Family has been renewed for a final season.
Yep, that was the case. I know a lot of people were sad to hear that news, but it wasn't unexpected because of the declining ratings over the course of time. So this came not out of left field. So I think the finality of it all, I think it I think it hit social media pretty hard.
Well, yeah. Like, I think for me, as a numbers person, I expected it to go on for at least one more season, to the point that it probably would get canceled like Criminal Minds. But except Criminal Minds got the final season renewal as well. And so the end is nigh for both shows next season.
It looks like it, and it looks like a lot of other shows in the future going forward. That might be a trend where any show that has like 3, 4, 5 seasons in, they'll get like a final season for some, maybe it's a final abbreviated season. That seems to be the trend now in Hollywood, in the TV industry, and that they just don't get an automatic cutoff. But if it's anywhere of a show that has run any length of time, that they'll at least get some type of closure, which is good for fans and good for TV audiences, especially the fact that it's going to provide some continuity down the road if you want to go ahead and stream it or watch it on video at some point in time down the road. I know NBC had some things to talk about during this past week as well when it comes to the TV marketplace. So share the goods on what's going on at the number one entity right now in the TV marketplace, NBC.
Well, the number one show is currently AGT Champions, and it's doing pretty well. It's doing a lot better than the Titan Games, which is airing on Thursday. The Titan Games right now is crumbling at the moment. And also in the television critics, there was a renewal of New Amsterdam, but not Manifest.
Which to me was surprising because of the fact that Manifest, even though it hasn't, been decided as of yet, it came out like gangbusters. I know you and I talked about the quality of the acting, which I thought was subpar. And it looks like maybe the quality of the show is catching up with the ratings. The idea was novel. The idea was very Lost-esque, I should say, because of the type of feel that it gave off and the type of vibes it gave off originally. But it looks like the quality of the acting and the quality of storytelling and the quality of the writing and whatnot has caught up with it. So I'm not surprised that it's in limbo right now. I mean, it was just I told you I couldn't sit through the pilot, and it looks like a lot of other people that did enjoy it because it had such great ratings initially have not been able to wait out on it as far as the quality is concerned. But there are other things that are out there when it comes to NBC, and then also I know a lot of other things when it comes to Fox, which has had a resurgence in the ratings as well.
Yes, we got The Masked Singer, which is continuing to do well for the network, and it's literally the number one show on TV. And we thought The World's Best was going to have the same mark for CBS, but apparently Fox did it right.
It looks like Fox has done it right. Not only the social media all over the place talking about it and and trying to figure out who is the singer, who get the clues as far as who is that person behind the mask that's singing, and the lineup is not impressive once you see about it as far as all the celebrities and whatnot. They seem to just be recycled from other types of shows of the similar type of ilk as far as competition shows are concerned. But you know what? It makes for a fun conversation about trying to guess who it is. So you know what? It's actually a very cool concept. And you're right. Fox looks like has gotten it right, and it's just gone by leaps and bounds as far as the ratings are concerned. It's the number one non-sports or news-related program right now of 2019. So I believe that is just something to be lauded about. And there are other things going on at Fox as well that's pretty cool. But I know there's also some troubling signs for a lot of shows from what I saw on your latest renew cancel about some likely cancellations.
Oh yes, like we got Star, we got The Resident, we got the Orville on the cancellation list, and a lot of it has nothing to do with the ratings initially, but it has something to do with the transition to new Fox. SmackDown is coming on Fridays, and we have Thursday Night Football, so that's going to cut a lot of shows out of the middleman.
I'll say this. There's another conversation for another day on WWE SmackDown moving to Fox, because there's been some issues with the overall WWE product, and it's led to a downturn in ratings for many years. But within the last year, there's been a precipitous drop, and it has had some very, very low ratings. In fact, historically low ratings for the programs Raw and SmackDown over the course of the past few weeks. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts later on this year as it nears time for WWE SmackDown to appear on Fox, if it's still a wise investment for Fox to go ahead and invest in the WWE. And then you've got, like you said, football is always something that's going to be there for ratings. I know ratings for the regular season went up, but ratings for the Super Bowl went down. So figure that one out. So I guess because the game itself was not exactly anything to scream about, but
it was the lowest scoring game of all time.
Yeah.
It actually beat the 1973 Super Bowl, as in the total number of points scored.
So that'll do it. I know as far as the second, third, and fourth, people were hoping would get better, and unfortunately just didn't. So maybe that was the big cause right there. I do want to ask you, there's a lot of stuff going on with cable. And from what I saw in your notes, the first thing you want to talk about is a mini series that they're currently running through right now called I Am the Night on TNT, starring Christopher Pine, directed by Patty Jenkins, famous from Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984. So I want to hear your thoughts on I Am the Night. This time last year, I was raving about The Alienist. It seems like TNT is hitting on a button where early in the year they want to go ahead and start some type of mystery, suspense, thriller type deal as far as a short series is concerned. It worked very well in The Alienist. Has it worked just as well for I Am the Night?
It initially started as high as The Alienist, but in recent ratings, it has gone down to like a 0.25. So it's pretty much mediocre. It's not exactly the same as The Alienist.
Now that's a shame. Although, you know me, I told you before, I love The Alienist, thought it was an excellent series. The I Am the Night has its charm from what I've seen, but you're right, it's still something that may not be able to meet those expectations from what they did last year with the suspense thriller at TNT. But there are more things going on in the world of Turner when it comes to all the different things as far as the cable systems are concerned, but not only the Turner networks, but so much more when it comes to cable.
Yeah, recently TNT is currently airing Snoop Dogg Presents the Joker's Wild and Drop the Mic, and they switched the time slots. On TBS, Joker's Wild was first and then Drop the Mic. Now TNT has Drop the Mic and then the Joker's Wild. And it's really showing in the ratings. Maybe that was a terrible move on TNT's part. Whereas it really showed that Joker's Wild was a weaker show than in its TBS run.
I agree with you on that. I think keeping Drop the Mic as the lead-in would probably been the smarter idea. Drop the Mic is the more novel show and the novel program, especially if you get two individuals that are off the cuff that can perform really, really well. that show really hits on some high marks that very few other competition shows can match. That's just my opinion, but I really think as far as an entertainment value, it is really strong and its high points. So when that's the case, it really shows off well. And I think you're right. It should have stayed the lead in, and the Joker's Wild come after that. But it looks like the switch is not paying off. But there are
Yeah,
other. Oh,
but then again, let me say this: like Joker's Wild was the lead-in on TBS, whereas Drop the Mic is the lead-in on TNT. So with the switch in networks comes the switch in time slots, and it's in the 10 o'clock hour,
yeah,
and
it
it's
it
not
just
paying off.
it doesn't sound like it's paying off. That's very disappointing, especially because of the fact that like I said, like I said, Drop the Mic has really hit some high notes. It's a rap. It's a rap. Uh, It's a rap show. Yes, I get it. High notes, rap shows doesn't match. But it wasn't trying to make a joke like that. It really does at its best really does entertain, provide some good entertainment from, and it has quality name celebrities out there that pop in each and every week. And it's just that alone I think is a amusement factor and a reason why it should stay as the lead in. But you've got some more things to talk about when it comes to cable. So, what's going on in the world of cable?
Well, The Magicians is getting another season on Sci-Fi before it ever premiered, and we're currently seeing Deadly Class. And Deadly Class right now is doing kind of mediocre overall, but still good for Sci-Fi because Sci-Fi ratings are not that great at the
And I want to
moment.
just, and I have seen the first 3 episodes of Deadly Class. I'll just say the writing is a little off, a little cheesy. Some of the sub characters, the side characters, are stereotypical caricatures of the 1980s in a synopsis. It does try to do too much. And I know the comic book that inspires it. I know the comic book creator has a heavy hand in it, and it is an award-winning, very well thought of comic book. I will say I enjoy it still because the fact that the lead characters are really strong. For the lead characters, you can see. I mean, I'll just put it to you this way: it's one of those shows that you will see maybe 5, 10 years down the line and say, you know what? That's where some really good actors and actresses came from, because those top 4 actors and actresses, they are really good. You can see the talent that they have, and they really carry the show into something that is watchable week after week. And it to me, it just provides some good entertainment. It is a different concept. It is NSFW, but it is something that's there for Sci-Fi. And I think Sci-Fi, even with the ratings being mediocre, should still stick with it for the long term.
That's correct. We also have, like on Freeform, we have Grownish and Good Trouble. Good Trouble recently was renewed, despite hitting, despite having ratings that were not as great as the parent show The Fosters at the end of its run.
Well, and that's something I want to ask you. Okay, the Fox Disney merger is almost about to happen. Okay, we're almost upon it. There are network, if you look at it, there are so many networks that Disney would be in charge of if that's the case, and that should be a bigger priority than Freeform. Do you see an end for Freeform at some point in time due to the Disney Fox merger? I would actually want to get your opinion on that, because I'm thinking, is there a need for Freeform? And even to an extent, a little bit the Disney Channel, although I don't want to say that too much, because they're obviously the kids programming before noon is so important to them. It's just that afternoon and the evening is just something that's been hit or miss with the Disney Channel. But Freeform, I've actually joked before, and you've heard my joke before, that I just thought it was a place that actually only people watched if they wanted to see Harry Potter reruns. So I want to hear your thoughts with FX landing in Disney's lap. And Disney has said during the TCAs this week that FX will be a priority with programming. Your thoughts on Freeform actually still be in existence to some extent after the Disney Fox merger?
Well, I kind of feel like in the next year or two, it's going to probably be deprioritized, just like Viacom had deprioritized CMT and TV Land to some extent, which is why the scripted development, there are no scripted shows on TV Land or CMT at the moment.
And that's and that in itself is surprising after there were some pretty good shows that were on both CMT and TV Land. So I agree with you that at some point in time, I think they're just either going to shutter it or de-emphasize it greatly, because how many networks do you really need to run on cable, and how efficient and how profitable will it be long term? And Disney's all about profit at the House of the Mouse. So it's all about how much profit can it generate. And I can't imagine Freeform at some point in time generating that much profit, especially as it gets more and more into the year. And I while I like the fact that they were able to renew a couple shows, even one that was on the not too good line as far as cancellation is concerned, I still don't see a long-term future or a long-term reason why you should keep Freeform on the air. I know you had a little bit more to talk about when it comes to television, so share us your thoughts on what else is going on in the world of cable in the world of cable.
Viacom this past week released their quarter one report, and it highlighted MTV's ratings resurgence and how Paramount Pictures is coming back from near death or unprofitability to in profitability session. Plus, MTV's ratings resurgence with the focus on unscripted reality for the past 2 years. We still don't get Scream season 3, but we have the challenges doing really strong at the moment.
Well, with MTV, God forbid they would want to show any music television anymore on MTV. I want my MTV. All right. Well, that was sorry. Bad Mark Knopfler impersonation there. Or actually, that was Sting. Actually, that sung it for Mark Knopfler's group at that time. But I digress. That's an old '80s thing.
Yeah, but we still have some form of music on the television type part, but it's usually in the morning hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When no one watches MTV, yes, but it's all about prime time with with a great deal of these networks, and that's understandable. I mean, that's when they run their ad times as far as the highest prices. That's when most eyes are watching, so that's definitely understandable. Any last thoughts on the TCAs or anything that's going on in the world of television?
My last thought was my surprise with the Mom's 2-season renewal because Mom was at the point where it had 2 seasons. Oh, okay.
You're on mute, just to let you know. In honor of television, please stand by.
Sorry about that. Well, back to Mom. I was really surprised with the 2-season renewal of Mom. And usually for WB shows, the recent shows that are mid-tier in the ratings, they usually get canceled after 6 seasons. But Mom, my thought is because The Big Bang Theory is ending this year, that's why they're doing this, I feel.
And Big Bang ratings are, and also Big Bang and Young Sheldon ratings are actually at its highest point of the year, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes.
So it looks like they want to go ahead and do a Young Sheldon lead in to a Mom, and maybe Mom can get that ratings boost from it. Plus, Mom is already in syndication, so they've got to be making a chunk of change off of that. So maybe they want to get a couple more seasons in of Mom to make sure that they've got a nice, I guess, rotation, not only for CBS, but for their syndication is concerned. One last thing I want to ask you about is that you didn't announce that took place during the TCAs, and that was the big announcement of The Simpsons not only getting 31, but also like Mom into the season 32. So your thoughts on a 2-season renewal, which will take the series over 700 episodes?
Well, I was a little surprised with The Simpsons because the ratings, even before the ratings are down, like outside of football. And we were just mentioning that maybe the end is close to being the nigh at the
Maybe it
moment.
is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I think they want to hit a magic 700 episodes. Who knows after that? I think they're going to have to sit down. I think they're going to have to sit down with the actors themselves and ask how much longer they can do this. I mean, they've been doing this literally for 30 plus years now. So you're going to have to ask yourself, how much longer do they have? Are they going to be able to keep sounding like Homer, Bart, and the rest of the Simpson families and the Simpson crew that's out there? So we're going to have to wait and see on that one. But it has been renewed for seasons 31 and 32. It will reach over 700 episodes, which is to me mind-boggling. That way back when I watched the original episode, that anything like that would happen, or when it was just a bit show. When it was a bit segment on the Tracy Ullman show. For goodness sake! So that tells you how what I thought of it at the time. I thought it was cool. I thought it was kind of funny, but little did I know 32 years later that it's going to be ending up like that with a chance to go over 700 episodes.
Yeah,
What
it's kind of like the same thing with like South Park and now Family Guy and all of these animated comedies that are they have a different production schedule.
they
It's
do,
kind of
they
like The Simpsons is kind of like the Gunsmoke of animated comedies, except it's lasting longer than Gunsmoke at this point.
yes, yes, it is. It's lasting over what Gunsmoke did. It's just an incredible feat for television. And you're right, South Park, which has been a staple for so many years, actually in its third decade now, and closing in on its fourth decade, because I'm sure it's going to be renewed into the 2020s at on Comedy Central. And then you have, like you said, Family Guy, which got the boost of life. It went from the bottom. It went to cable, got a rebirth, and now it's just something that a lot of people are now watching religiously each and every week. It's tremendous to see all these animated shows and the stories that they could tell from being on so many years.
Yeah.
Jessica, once again, we have Jessica Boggs. She is part of the amazing crew at the TV Ratings Guide. You want to check out everything they've got going on today at the TVRatingsGuide.com. Also, they've got a lot of, again, the cancel renew indexes on all the major networks and cable television. They've got a ton of original work that they like to go ahead and present to you because they present it in the form of a original TV programming style. So it's very unique, and you got to check it out. All the great shows that they go ahead and create there, plus also reviews, articles, and so much more. Jessica, personally, are you working on anything new coming up for the TVRatingsGuide.com?
But currently I got original scripts. Um I got the second season currently. And I also got Writer's Block, which is the spin-off running currently. They're airing their episode 7 of their respective seasons
I'm telling you what, you
this
are
week.
doing you're doing an amazing job there. Your plate is always full. I see you on Twitter all the time talking about this, doing that, doing that, doing that. Plus, you're doing all the stuff you're writing about when it comes to the TVRatingsGuide.com. Just a tremendous job as always. And of course, I truly appreciate you stopping by, you having some time to meet with me each and every month as we talk the TV world. The TCAs were very important and no less newsworthy this time around. And I look forward to next year when all these TV execs, just basically have the life of many TV shows right in the palm of their hands once again. Jessica, it's always great to have you on the show. Can't wait till we talk next month and get our monthly TV fix right here on the Pop Culture Cosmos.